All right, guys, how we doing? Are you ready to level up your game at the start of 2023? Hopefully the audio is all good. If you can hear me, say hello in the chat. Fuzzy Ferret's already there. Afternoon, Gaz. He says, good to see Fuzzy, aka Ben. Right, Butvar is in the chat, says hi, excellent stuff. Mr. P-Man is there, Yanis is there. Funny Money as well. Good morning from the US. Good morning, good morning. Right, let's get started. Happy New Year, of course. Dan Rambo and Ian Simpson here as well. Yo, right. So of course, let's start with Happy New Year. Now, I always forget the camera is over here, above the screen we're going to be looking at. So this screen is like right below it. And yet I've got a big screen here with all of the like OBS and the chat and everything else that's going on. So, well, that's I need to just remember that because I keep talking here as if you guys are here, but you're actually right here. So Happy New Year to everybody. We're going to be taking a look at some bluff catching river spots today. Now, if you are a member of MTT Poker Academy, which is my monthly academy program within MTT Poker School, then you would have spent the last few weeks of December looking at bluff catching rivers. So I'm expecting you guys to do really, really well. For anybody else who's not part of that program, then you're going to learn lots of stuff today. So let's have a look. We had a few followers just before we started as well. Charlie, McGurkin, T. Ricky. That's exciting. I'm not actually sure if I opened up the thing I need to open up to make that work so you guys can see it as well. Who knows? No pressure, Mr. P-Man says. He's part of the academy, so yeah, no pressure, but lots of pressure. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to go straight into it. So this is what we've got: 30 big blinds, low jack versus big blind. In every single one of these spots that's about to come up, you have check called a small bet on the flop. You've check called a big bet on the turn, and then you've landed on the river and you're facing a jam. And the question is, do you like a fold or do you like a call? That's all it is, all right? So we're going to get the trusty Menti out. Let me copy this link. I'm going to post this link. So this is our first spot, 10-5-4 ace queen. I'm going to post this to you guys on YouTube and on Twitch. I want you to click that link and choose fold or call. Those are the only two options that we've got here. And I'm going to push, as soon as the votes come in, I'm going to start pushing them up here. So get your votes in, guys. Do you like a fold or a call in this river spot? So we've basically faced a triple barrel, small bet on the flop, big bet on the turn, and jam on the river. Butvar, thanks for the follow. All right, so a pretty big, overwhelming consensus that fold is going to be good. I'd love to know who it was though that said call, went brave and went against the grain, and thought this might be a call. So the Hattie says, "Hey guys, hope you had a good Christmas." Did, mate? Thank you. Hope you did as well. Hope Lapland was fun. Girls enjoyed it. The key thing here is not necessarily the answer. Of course, the answer is what we want to get to, but it's the process to get there in the first place that we want to focus on. And the reason for that is that next time you're in one of these situations, you face a triple barrel, you're going to be better at working out whether or not you should call. Now, Fuzzy said it was E&E. He has no fold button. That does not surprise me. Okay, so everybody went with fold. Why is this a fold? That's what we want to try and get to. Why is this a fold? What are we saying? Why is this a fold? We've called flop, called turn, and we've got a fold river. Spenny says, "Yo, good to see Spenny as well." It's almost like you come as a double act, you and Hattie. Not sure if that was planned. Hearttick's in the building as well. Incredible. EP raise, everything comes in on the river. Okay, that's good. Yeah. We don't block value, and we don't unblock bluffs. All right, we're getting into it now. I appreciate that, Spenny. That's good. Okay, so Fuzzy's getting into it now. So we don't block value hands. So this is what we're going to be driving towards. I'm going to work out what makes a good bluff catcher. How are we going to get better at bluff catching? Funny Money says both range and nut disadvantage. That's an interesting one. Are we definitely at both of those? Because by the time we've called the turn, like our range is fairly strong and our opponent's range is fairly polarized, right? Yes, our range is condensed, but we can still have some really strong hands. We can have some two pair, we can have straights, we can have flushes by the river. So we have lots of really strong hands. I'm not necessarily convinced that we're at a disadvantage. We're missing, of course, we're missing sets. For sure, we're missing sets. But yeah, I'd be interested to see that in a moment. So the key, what Fuzzy's saying earlier on, was we don't block value and we don't unblock bluffs. The key two ideas with bluff catching rivers is that you want to block value hands, which we do. There are like we block tens and we block ace 10, which seems pretty reasonable. But we would love to have a spade in our hand, right? To block some flushes as well. The other side of it, so we want to block value hands, but we also want to unblock bluffs. And if you think about it, bluffs are going to include the 9 of hearts fairly regularly. So this is where I think a lot of players fall down, is that they don't know what the low jack is supposed to bluff with, and then they can't then work it out that that their hand is a bad bluff catcher. So the first thing we need to do, I can probably show you the solution. Just don't know if this is gonna be small enough to put on the screen. Let me, yeah, I reckon we can do it like this. Let's do it like this. In fact, we probably don't need it to be. We can probably do this. Make this bigger. Whoops. Oh, that's really annoying. Really annoying. Misclick. We've misclicked on the first live coaching session of the year. Never mind. Let's take out this results. So this is the low jacks strategy. And I just want to point to some 9x hands. So like 9-7 of hearts. We've got the 9 of hearts, remember. 9-7 of hearts is bluffing. King 9 of hearts is bluffing. Are there any others? Not really with the 9x in, but I think you can see that 10-9 is just not going to be a hand that we want to call with. Okay, we don't block flushes and we only block 10. That's pretty hard. But interestingly, ace 10 is not a hand that's in this range. Now let's just go back a little bit. So it isn't a hand that wants to bet small on the flop. All right, it bets big 100% of the time. So when I said earlier on, we block ace 10, we block 10s, only half of that is correct, right? We don't block ace 10 because ace 10 would have bet big on the flop. So when we land on the river, we literally only block pocket 10s, and queen 10 isn't good enough to go for a bluff. So remember what we said earlier, a good bluff catcher is where we block value hands, so we don't really do that, and we unblock bluffs. Well, we don't do that either because we actually block king 9 of hearts and 9-7 of hearts, and it doesn't seem like too much, but that's definitely something to think about. So the other thing is that we are just not that high up in our range, right? We're going to have some better hands to call. We're going to have a lot of ace-x hands to call, and you can see like ace jack is calling, ace 4 is calling because it's two pair. Same with ace 5. Ace 9 of spades is calling, ace 8 of spades. All of these ace x of spade hands are calling because it's a nut flush. But you can see that like ace 6 of diamonds is going to fold, ace 7 of diamonds is going to fold, ace 8 of diamonds is going to fold. And the reason for that is because 6x, 7x, 8x hands are the kind of hands that potentially are in the low jack's bluffing range. So if we take a look at it, oh look, 7 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds. Yeah, not hands that we want to call with. So let's see, king 7 as well, or not king 7 of diamonds. So all of these things really useful to think about when we do call. So we're going to call with all of our flushes. If we take a look at 10-8 off, we do actually call when we have the 8 of spades. So just reduces the number of flushes that our opponent can have. We actually block some more value hands. We block pocket tens, and we also block some flushes. So if we take a look, ace 8 of spades, king 8 of spades, jack 8 of spades, 9 8 of spades, 8 7 of spades, so on and so forth. All right. So let's pull this out of the way. Let's have a look. Boy, I don't know how you say this. Bay Moat says, we have so many better hands, really, and for that sizing, I'm not even sure villain has enough bluffs. Every single two-face cards beat us, all the flushes too, only lower pocket pairs. Why not call with 10-9 with the 9 of spades? Good question. Good question. That's a very good question, actually. Let's pull this back in. It's a really good pickup. First thing I want to say, though, is that you're not sure for this sizing that villain has enough bluffs. This is a solver, right? So the solver is definitely going to have enough bluffs. It's going to be perfectly balanced to making sure that your bluff catchers are 100% indifferent. So the best you can hope for is to make nothing. So I wouldn't read too much into the sizing dictating whether or not he's going to have enough bluffs, because the solver definitely will. So he says, how was your new year, Gaz? Are we going to see more streams from yourself? Are you going to be playing? Well, I mean, New Year was an absolute write-off. The last 3 days, I haven't really eaten anything because I've been poorly, and so is my wife. So we've had a great New Year. 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was literally just a write-off, eating hardly anything. It was really, really, really bad. So I don't even know how long this stream is going to go for, because I'm literally running on empty. I had the first proper meal at lunchtime. We had a roast dinner, which was excellent. But yeah, hopefully I can keep things going. I've got a workshop tonight as well, so I don't want to burn out too getting But yeah, if you guys have ever had like a sickness bug for a few days, you know how much it takes it out of you, and sometimes it can take a little bit of getting back into it. Oh, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Dan says you look great, though. Appreciate that. Thank you. Right. Well, why on earth is 10-8 off calling and 10-9 off is not? Well, let's have a look at the 9x hands. So there's no Jack 9 of spades is one example, and 9-8 of spades. It looks like there are just fewer 9x of spade combos. 9x of spade combos available. So we call with the 8 because there are more 8x hands like king 8 of spades, jack 8 of spades, 9 8 of spades, 8 7 of spades than the 9x. Do we consider check raising the flop? That's a great question. That's a great question. What hand did we have? I can't even remember what hand we had now because I misclicked on the trainer. If anyone can remember, we had 10-9 off, right? So 10-9 off. Is that right? We can consider raising. Looks like there is some raising going on there. Yep. Hassan on YouTube says, sorry to hear that, Gareth. Me and my missus going through the same bug at the moment. Yeah, seems to be doing the rounds. Not good at all. I had massive plans to go to the gym 5 times this week, and I'll be lucky if I get there once. Right, let's get to the next one, and we can do a new vote for this. So bear in mind, guys, we're just going to go through what makes a good bluff catcher once again. In fact, you guys tell me, based on what I just said, what makes a good bluff catcher. Type it into the chat, and I am going to reset these results. Before we get to this one. Spenny says, think everyone's been ill since December. It's been nuts in Yorkshire. Don't think Hattie has had it yet, though. Okay, so Funny Money says, don't block villains' bluffs. We don't want to block villains' bluffs. You might be thinking like, okay, what kind of bluffs could villain have in this situation? So again, we've check-called the flop, small bet on the flop, which is somewhat interesting. I'm not sure we're going to see too many small flop bets on this board. We might, in fact, yeah, I don't think we're going to see any small, like, yeah, I'm going to show you the sim. Look, hardly any small bets. So we're going to cancel this one. It's probably a mix between fold and call. Oh, we got him. Okay, well, this one should be, Well, yeah. I mean, let's take a look at this one. Yeah, not going to be too many small bets on this board though either. Let's keep going through, see if we can find a board where there is actually, or there are actually some small bets. Wow, this is wild. Look at this. How have we landed here? This is fun. Right, we're going to look at this in a moment. But yeah, as Funny Money says, don't block villains' bluffs. We don't want to block villains' bluffs. We do want to block value hands. So we're going to take a vote. I'm going to copy the link in. Hopefully this works. I've reset it. So take a look at that link, guys. Ed says on YouTube, we block value and unblock bluffs. Yeah. So in this situation, I'm hoping that it's going to be fairly straightforward. Face a triple barrel. We have ace high. What do we like to do here, guys? Click on the link on the chat in Twitch and YouTube, depending on where you're watching. We've got some votes for call. Looks like Ian is back on the call train. Or 2 votes for call. Someone else is going for a call this time. Wow, there we go. Three votes for call. Goodness me. Let's just run through these ideas. The title of today's stream is how to improve your bluff catching skills on the river. I feel like we might be getting worse, guys, based on the results here. Remember that you want to block value hands and unblock bluffs. All right. So for all those people that voted call, look at this: 6 votes for call. Stop it. Not calling in game. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to say to anyone who voted for call in this situation, what value hands do you block? What value hands do you block? Now, there are some, absolutely, but I just want you to get there. What value hands do you block? Ace, ace, ace 10. Yep, very good. I think that might be it, right? I think that might be it. So, and what kind of hands is our opponent going to bluff with? What kind of hands is our opponent going to bluff with? Are they going to bluff with some ace highs? If they are, then it's, 4-5 suited, not in their opening range. Yep, 30 big blinds, low jack open, probably doesn't have 5-4 in it. Yanis says 5-4. Maybe it might be a tiny bit of 5-4 in there, but I would say overall 5-4 is going to be a fold at this stack depth. So I don't think 5-4 is going to be in there. So literally it's just aces and ace 10. But I think there's going to be some bluffing with some ace highs in this spot. So I think this is a really, really bad bluff catcher. Really, really bad bluff catcher. And we definitely don't want to call with this hand. Let's pull this in. Right. Yeah, so you guys are talking about 5-4 suited. 5-4 suited is not in the range. I'll just show you. So this is pre-flop. This is the low jack. There's no 5-4. Where would it be? Here. 6-5 here. 5-4 suited here. So this is the strategy that the low jack is going to use at equilibrium. And you can see that we block ace 10. We block aces, which is good. But that's it for value hands. And then for bluffs, well, we block king 5, we block ace 5, we block ace 4, we block ace 8, we block ace 9. What suit did we have? Ace diamonds. Okay. So yeah, we block ace 8 of diamonds, we block ace 9 of diamonds. We don't block ace queen of spades, obviously. We block we have ace of diamonds, so we block ace 9 off. And we block ace 8 off as well. So we're blocking bluffs, and we're not really blocking many value hands. So this is going to be a really, really bad bluff catcher. We unblock jack queen and all those 8x's. Yes, correct. Okay, this is good. So on on those hands, it is a bad bluff catcher for the reasons I stated, but there are a ton of these other hands like Jack 9, Queen 9, King 9, Ace 9, King 8, Queen 8, Jack 8, 9 eights are straight. That Queen Jack as well. So we unblock all of those. So if we had, in fact, let's take a look. So a hand like 9-7, for example, you might think, oh yeah, well we have second pair and we block the straight, which is really, really good. But we also block a ton of bluffs, right? Let's just go back. Look at all these 9x hands that are bluffing. King 9, Queen 9, Ace 9, Jack 9, not 9-8, that's a straight. There's a lot of 9x hands, so we don't want to be calling with a 9 in our hand, right? 9-7 seems to be really bad. 9-3 is bad. 9-2 is bad. So... but if we look at it, Ace-7 suddenly becomes a better bluff catcher. So there are some Ace-X hands that bluff, but not as many as like the 9X and the 8X hands. So I'd imagine that I'm trying to find, an 8-7 off, for example, really not wanting to call, but Ace-7 wanting to call 100% of the time. Right, we're going to try and do better next time, guys. Because unless we've got some rogue people in the chat just deciding to click the call button. But I'd love to know why so many people thought this was going to be a call. Like, this is a huge hero call. We don't want to be making it. Right, let's get to the next one. We just want to make sure. Oh, this is a good one. We just want to make sure that there are definitely some small bets on the flop, followed by some big bets on the turn, and then some jams on the river. There are always going to be jams, I think, in this spot. Right, we are going to change. We're going to reset the results. And I'm going to post the link to you guys again in a second. So in the chat, guys, you will find a link. And I want you to click that link and choose your option. I think it's the same link. You can probably just click refresh if you've got the tab open already. Let's start putting these results in. Okay. So you've check called a small bet on the flop with flush draw. You then check call a big bet on the turn because you have top pair and a flush draw. And then on the river, you call, do you call, do you fold? Axat says, snap call this one, block the nuts, and you beat 7-7 and 8-8. You think 7-7 and 8-8 are going to value jam the river, Axat? Is that what you mean, or something different? Hattie said, interesting hand this one. Wouldn't expect villain to bluff much here when 4 to the straight comes in. Okay, but remember, this is a bot, right? The bot is going to bluff perfectly. So I think what you're saying is, they don't have enough value hands when the 4 to the straight comes in. Plus, it's a monotone board to begin with, monotone flop, which then means if they can't value bet as much, they obviously can't bluff as much. So I think that's what you're saying, right, Hattie? Okay, so we've got a lot of votes for call here and a few votes for fold. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is a tricky, very tricky one. I think. Yeah. Let's walk through the villains process first. So mainly gone for call. There's some fold as well. Need a time bank. Yeah, we need a GG style time bank for this one. All right. So our opponent's going to bet small very frequently on this board, and then the big bets at this point are going to come from like overpairs with a spade, as you can see bottom. Oh no, you guys can't see it. Let me see if I can fix that. Look at that. It's like perfect. Can we make this? No. Okay, so you can see like jacks, queens, kings, aces with a spade, very frequently betting big. Ace 10 off with a spade, but even without, sometimes on the turn 2. And then we've got some sets going for a big bet. sixes and fours, threes less so, and then yeah, pretty much it. So a mixture of small and big bets, mainly small betting the turn, but yeah, we are going to face some big bets. And then on the river, we can see just one bet size used. I don't think half pot would need to get used here. I guess maybe you could have 50 and 90, maybe. But yeah, let's have a look at. We can pull this in. Hopefully it fits. Okay, perfect. So what you can do in Pio is actually just click this button, and it will tell you. It kind of shows you like how polarized the range is, because let's pull this down. Just select all again. So you've got all the range in here, but you can see that there's pink at the top, which is betting, and then pink at the bottom, which is betting as well. So betting for value, betting as a bluff, and then everything in the middle is going to check. So you click this button, you can see it much better. So you can see like the top is going to bet and the bottom is going to, sorry, the top is going to bet for value and the bottom is going to bet as a bluff. And then the hands that check are the hands in the middle, either hands that just wants to give up with or hands that just are not good enough to value bet. So in terms of our hand, let's go back here. We have the 10 of spades and the 8 of clubs. So we want to look and see 10 of spades. How important is that to, like, how much of our opponent's betting range do we block? So 10 of spades, 10 9 of spades, 10 8 of spades. Okay, that's it. So not a lot of flushes. So we think to ourselves, right, yeah, we block a lot of flushes, but do we actually? Doesn't look like it. What about straight flushes? There are no straight flushes. Okay, so what about like top pair? So some top pair is betting, but not very frequently. And then that, I think, is going to be it, apart from sets, right? So we do block pocket tens as well. All right, that's pretty useful. So there's a little bit in here. So flush, straight, and a top pair. So there's some in here. Pocket tens, 10 9, 10 8 suited, and a little bit of ace 10 off, queen 10 off as well. Okay. So where's all the ace 10, king 10, queen 10 of spades? Good question. Let's try and find out where that is. So it's not there. Queen 10, not there. Queen 10, king 10, jack 10. Where is it? Guys, let me know in the chat. Where do you think, where are those hands? Why are they not in the range? That's so weird. Why are they not in the range? Good. So Baymoit, no idea. Can you type it phonetically so I can keep so I don't keep butchering this name if you can? Must have played differently at a previous street, probably check turn. Yeah, or used a smaller bet on the turn. So either check back turn or used a smaller bet on the turn. All right, so we can actually just confirm that is what's going on. Ace 10 of spades, small bet. King 10 of spades, small bet or check. Queen 10 of spades, small bet or check. Jack 10 of spades, small bet or check. So the first thing is we block a lot of flushes we have to call. But then you think about it, ace 10 of spades, king 10 of spades, queen 10 of spades, jack 10 of spades, 10 9 of spades, a little bit of big betting, 10 8 of spades, a little bit of big betting, but not really too many value hands that we actually block. And pocket tens, not using the big bet very frequently either on the turn. So first instance, you think, yes, great bluff catcher. We've got a great blocker to our opponent's value hands. The other hand, though, you don't really. In terms of bluffs, then, we have the 8 of clubs. So we want to avoid blocking some bluffs. Or king 8 of clubs bluffs, queen 8 of clubs bluffs, jack 8 of clubs bluffs a little bit. 9 8 of clubs bluffs, but not very, it doesn't get there very often. There's no 8 7 of clubs. All right, so not, yeah, we don't, let's have a look. We do block some bluffs, and we don't block too many value hands. So I'm starting to think that maybe this hand is not a good bluff catcher. But if we go back to our results from the start, most of you said call over fold. Now, we don't know the solution yet, but we're going to find out right now. 10-8 off with the 10 of spades. Really, really, really indifferent. So, yeah, that is really interesting. So 10-8 off with the 8 of spades likes a call. Now, I'm assuming now that more 8x of spade hands go for a big bet on the turn and jam river. That has, yeah, I think that's just more likely to be the what's going on here. Whereas the 10 of spades actually ends up being not as good because we don't block enough value hands. Let's have a look. Jack 8 of spades. Wow, look at that. Queen 8 of spades. No king 8 of spades. Ace 8 of spades is in there. 10 8 of spades is in there. 9 8 of spades, huge amount. 8 7 of spades, huge amount. So having the 8 of spades is better than having the 10 of spades. So if we had 10 8 off with the 8 of spades, we should be much happier calling in this spot. Guys, you've got about 20 seconds. Just type in the chat one thing you just learned from this hand. Once we've done this, we're probably going to do one more hand because I'm starting to feel the effects of this 3-day virus or bug, whatever it is. And I'm going to need to go and chill out because I've got a workshop tonight with my Academy members. I'm going to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, what are you waiting for? You can type in command FB group, I think, in certainly on Twitch. You can't do it on YouTube, though. And you you should join the Facebook group. You'll get the link. There you go. Fuzzy Ferret. Awesome. Let me copy this actually to YouTube. Join my free Facebook group for more on tournament poker. If you love tournament poker, post daily in there, sometimes twice a day. Lots of things going on, and you can post hands and you can ask questions and everything and anything about tournament poker. So if you really want to get better at tournament poker in 2023, join the Facebook group. That's the first place to start. There's a few questions to answer as you join, and that's just so I can give you the best possible start to your tournament poker journey with MTT Poker School. Okay. Axat says, do you have a Discord? I have a Discord, but it's only for members of my programs. I like to keep it exclusive. And so if you're interested in joining the Discord, you have to join one of the programs. Let me just quickly go through that. So my main program right now is Train and Play Like the Pros. So if you're a part-time or recreational player looking to learn how to train and play like the pros, essentially. So form really good study habits, identify your leaks, know how to identify your leaks in the future as well, so that after the program, you can continuously do that. Optimize your study, make sure you're learning and training in the right way, and also develop optimal strategies for playing tournaments. Then Train and Play Like the Pros is my 8-week program that you should definitely consider. And we can chat about that. Once you're in the Facebook group, we can chat on Facebook, no problem at all. Once you've gone through the Train and Play Like the Pros program, I have the Academy. And the reason why we set up like this is because I want to make sure that everybody in the Academy is at a certain level so that we can so they can progress at a quick enough rate. What I don't want to do is invite people to the Academy who haven't gone through Train and Play Like the Pros because I don't know what level they're at, right? So I want to make sure that everybody going into the Academy has graduated from Train and Play Like the Pros because they're already, their fundamentals are really solid, they're training in the right way, and they know how to do things like set goals and be disciplined to stick to, a study schedule, training schedule, stuff like that. So that's the way it works. You go through Train and Play Like the Pros 8-week program, then you can join the Academy. If you want to find out more, join the Facebook group. And also, you can, if you want, send me a message on Facebook. Ricochet Gray says it's worth it for those who haven't. I appreciate that. That's Ash, who's part of our Train and Play Like the Pros program. Awesome. Axel said, this is 2023, mate. Everyone has moved on from Facebook. Well, I'm still stuck in 2008, probably. Ian Simpson says it really is class. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Hattie says you need a mix option on the voting. Yeah, well, we'll think about that for next time. It's just good, I think, to have like, you know, binary options, and then we can discuss it. Funny Money says, I can vouch to now, new member. I did the Leak Finder worksheets yesterday and it's been eye-opening. Awesome. Yeah. So what Funny Money is talking about there is, as soon as you come into the program, we want to identify the areas that you should focus on first. That's why this program is different from any other training site, I think, is that we focus on what you need, not, you know, just generic content that you need to try and siphon your way through to work out what it is exactly you need. So we can identify your areas for improvement or leaks straight away and get you working on things that you need to work on. Ricochet says Gaz still uses MySpace. I think I've still got a MySpace somewhere. Right. Okay. Let's. We're going to do. Well, in fact, what? Okay. Yeah. So Hadi said that what we needed. He learned is that we needed a mix option. Hassan said blockers matter, and it's not always the blockers that you think. I learned that Axat still believes that Facebook is no more. We got a great Facebook group. I think it's 4,000. I don't know, 4,500 members of the Facebook group now. So yeah, you're joining a great elite group. Okay. Final Table 13. I don't Facebook. Okay, well, you're not going to be able to join the Facebook group then. Fair enough. Talking of Final Table, I don't know if anyone's seen. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I certainly haven't mentioned it in 2023. But I've got a new book coming. It's called The Final Table, and it is coming out this year. Very excited about that. And as you probably don't need to guess, it's all about Final Table strategy. Yanis Maestro. There is Instagram as well. Well done, Yanis. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't know. In fact, yeah, there was a thing just here a minute ago that said follow me on Instagram. It was like instagram.com/MTT Poker School. Right, we've got all the plugs out of the way now. Hopefully some of you have joined on Facebook, and we're going to go to the next hand. So this is a mix and mainly calling. Oh, look, we ran into Queens, guys. That's unfortunate. Okay. Oh, this is a great one to end on. But the problem is there's no small betting on the flop on 875, is there? So that's the only problem I'm going to say about PIOTrainer is, let me just show you the solution here. There's no, like, it's just all big betting. There's 1.38% small betting. What I would like, yeah, like a little bit of what pocket eights. What I'd like PIOTrainer, if there's a way, maybe you guys know how to do it already, but is to, it's to kind of like not have these kind of spots come up. Like, just not, there's no small betting really on 875, like a low connected board like this. So I don't really want to see hands like that in this spot. So that's a shame. It is a shame because this would have been a fun one, but the answer is fold. But we would have got there like a fraction of the time. Okay, I think this might be this one might be slightly better. I'm just going to check. Yeah, there's definitely some small betting on this board. There's definitely some big betting on the turn, and so we are going to have a decision to make here. Let me reset the results. Right, I'm going to post the link, guys. So I'll just talk you through what's going on here. I'm going to post the link. You can vote on there. It's the same one, though. You can just click refresh if you want to. So we've check called the flop with middle pair. We've check called the turn, but it's big bet now on the turn with third pair now. And on the river, we face a jam, and the question is, do you like a fold or a call? And here are the results starting to come in. So quick recap then, as you guys are answering this. A good bluff catcher blocks value hands and unblocks bluffs. Unblocks value hands. Sorry. blocks value hands and unblocks bluffs. Let's make sure we get that right. That is quite important. I was just thinking, so Hattie said we needed a mixed, like mix between fold and call button. If the answer was to mix this one on the end, it'd be really cool if the split that we had was the same as the frequency split. I haven't looked at it yet, but that would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? All right, we've got some comments coming in now as well. This is probably the one I'd most want to call out of all of these. Unblock, ace queen, ace 10, queen 10, queen 9, all diamonds. Seeing as it's Pio, I'd call, but in-game fold. Okay. What about me? If you were playing against me, Hattie, would you fold as well? Ian says, same as Hattie. Okay, good. Some interesting things to unpack about what you said there. Some of those bluffs. Okay, so generally speaking, you guys have gone for folds. We are going to close this off now. So 80% fold, 20% call. Hattie says, I raise, fold, bomb turn, and make you fold like that King 10 hand from ages ago. I can't believe you've remembered that. I remember the hand, kind of. I don't remember the details, but I remember there was a hand we played, which was great. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. First up in the chat, guys, do we want to block value hands? Type in some value hands that we block. By the way, one thing we haven't talked about is that sometimes you can land on the river with a hand that's not strictly a bluff catcher because you are ahead of some of your opponent's value range, right? So I'm trying to think of an example like King Queen. If we had King Queen here, our opponent can jam worse hands for value like King 10 and King 9, right? That's not strictly a bluff catcher, even though you can run into some better hands as well. It's not strictly a bluff catcher. This hand, though, third pair, is definitely a bluff catcher. So that's why we're talking about trying to get better at bluff catching, and why we're looking at this hand. Okay. So we've got sixes. Yep, sixes. Ace 6 suited. Ace 6 suited. Interesting. You think ace 6 suited is tripling it off here for value? Sixes and king 6. Yeah, I can see that. King 6 and sixes for sure go small bet flop, big bet turn, jam river. Yeah, I can see that. But I don't think that ace 6 is going to take that line. A couple of you said that. 4-5 suited, not in range. 4-5 suited is not low jack open, 30 big blinds. So, yeah, not going to think... I don't think that's going to be in there. Or it isn't in there. All right, but we do block sixes and king 6. The other question we need to or criteria we need to satisfy is, do we unblock bluffs? So are there any hands with a 4 in them that will bluff? For example, pocket 4s, ace 4. Those hands bluff? I would say that ace 4 is a pretty good bluff in this situation, because ace 4 suited sort of satisfies the other way around, that it unblocks folds, right? So it will block calls and unblock folds. That's something we can look at in a future session. But ace 4 seems to me to be a pretty good bluff in this spot. You can certainly get better hands to fold. Naveen Kumar on YouTube says we are not blocking the big card combos, so folding here. But we are blocking sixes and king 6 suited though. Right, let's take a look. Let me have a look at this. This is our opponent's strategy on the river. So I just said we block sixes in there, and king 6 suited looks good. But then ace 4 suited is in there. We have the 4 of clubs, but pocket 4s doesn't bluff. Can beat some 2x of diamond hands, and just like, I don't know, like ace queen of diamonds, ace 10 of diamonds, ace 9 of diamonds, if they play like this. So 4s are just going to be good enough to be able to check back and win. I guess you beat 3x of diamonds hands as well, like some combo draws, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3 of diamonds, those kind of hands. So have a look. Access says we unblock all Broadway non-pair flush draw diamonds. They all bomb the turn. Okay. So we block some bluffs, but we also block value hands. Yeah. I mean, there's quite a lot of value hands in this spot, mainly because if you look at the King X, all King X gets to jam for value for this line. All the King X that makes it to the river jams for value. So if I go to show you the kind of value hands that we block sixes, but we don't block jacks and threes. We block King 6, but we don't block King Jack, and then we don't block aces, and we don't block any of these King X hands. Okay, and then all the other hands underneath are sort of showdown value, going to want to check, and then we're going to reach a point where it starts bluffing. So you've got some ace highs, and you've got the nothing. We'll come back to this nothing in a minute because I think it's really, really important. But yeah, the ace highs, just the weaker ace X hands, are going to want to bluff, get better hands to fold and unblock the kind of hands that can call twice and then fold. Right. So we don't block too many value hands simply because our opponent has a ton of these top pair hands. You can see that the biggest portion of their range by the river after ace high is top pair, and they can value jam them all. So having a king, in our sense, if we had a king, we shouldn't be folding ever, right? You can't fold a king when you block the biggest chunk of your opponent's value range. Hattie says, what King X do we float the flop with? I can show you. So King Queen off, King 10 off. We've got, and then you've got all the King X with a backdoor flush draw. So you've got King 10, even King 10 of hearts wants to float. You've got King 9 with a backdoor flush draw, King 8, King 7, King 6 of course is a pair, King 5, King 4, King 3, and King 2 is a pair as well. So a lot of King X hands to be able to defend here, and which is why they can jam all of the King X very confidently, because we are going to have some hands that we call that are not a king. All right. Let's. I mentioned before I wanted to take a look at the nothing type hands. This is like a big portion of your bluffs are going to come, or your opponent's bluffs are going to come from hands that are just nothing, and that's what all of these hands are. So I think if we had a 10, a 9, or an 8 in our hand, or a 7 even, I guess 10, 9, 8, 7, that's going to be a worse bluff catcher than say 6-4, because with 6-4 we only blocked ace 4, right? Whereas if we had a hand like 10-6, I would imagine, or 10-6, 9-6, 8-6, 7-6, those hands are going to be worse. They have to be, right? But we should always confirm that. 10-6, always folding. 9-6, always folding. 8-6, always folding. 7-6, always folding. But 6-5, 6-4 is in there a portion of the time. We went for an 80-20 split, and it was a 64-36, so not too bad. I didn't look at the suits, though. 6 of spades, 4 of clubs. 6 of spades, 4 of clubs was a 50-50 split. So hopefully you guys can see what's going on here, right? This portion of 10x, 9x, 8x, 7x hands are all bluffing the river. We don't want to have one of those cards in our hand when we call. So we think about a hand like 10-6, 9-6, 8-6, 7-6. You can see them all in here. They just don't want to call. It's just really, really bad to call with those hands. But once we get underneath, where we don't block bluffs all of a sudden, because there aren't as many 5x and 4x hands that can bluff. I'll just show you this. Look, there's no Queen 7, Jack 8, Queen 6, Queen 5, Jack 5, 10-5. It could be different. We'd focus if we do button versus big blind, for sure. But in this situation, low jack versus big blind, 30 big blinds deep, we do want to, at least think about calling with these hands. I think the important thing to take away from this is that you don't want to call with 10-6, 9-6, 8-6, but you can consider calling with 6-5, 6-4 against really good opponents. If your opponents are not balanced on the river, if you're playing low and mid stakes MTTs, I think the easy answer with bluff catchers, if your opponents are not bluffing enough, you should probably just fold your bluff catchers. I think if you node lock this to them not bluffing enough, I think a hand like 6-4, which is indifferent at the moment, is just going to be a very, very easy fold. But the key idea with this session was to make sure that you could get better at bluff catching and understand the reasons why. So if you were going to take some stuff away from this and go and work on your own game right now, or in the next few days, few weeks, the good bluff catchers will block value hands and will unblock bluffs. And unblocking the bluffs is probably the most important part of that. Although we did see earlier an example of where it was important to understand, did we actually block value hands with that on that monotone board with 10-8? And in order to work out whether you block bluffs or unblock bluffs, you need to understand, or better understand, what your opponent is supposed to do in these situations. And very frequently, it's going to be the kind of the 9-8s, the 10-9s, the queen 9s. What else? Like the 8-7. Those kind of hands that can definitely not win on the river. And it's not always a good reason to bluff, but they're going to have the EV of checking is 0, because then they can never win with like 8-7. They're going to be really, they're going to make more money by going for a bluff on the river. I think that's going to be it. Don't forget to join the Facebook group. I posted the link earlier. If you want the Facebook group, just put a message into the chat now. Or if you're on Twitch, you can do Command FB group. What else was I going to say? If you haven't done so already, watching on Twitch, hit the follow button so you're notified when I go live next, which will be next Monday at 4 p.m. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you want, and you'll also be notified when I go live and whenever I post new videos. That's it, guys. Happy New Year to everybody. I will see you next week. As I said, though, if you want to chat about how I can improve your tournament poker game, then join the Facebook group and send me a DM on Facebook. If you don't use Facebook, you can DM me on Instagram as well. That's it, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.